I'm Forrest Wood. Welcome to Plattsburgh, New York, and Lake Champlain. We're here for the Forrest Wood Open.
The regular season comes to a grand finale today on the Walmart FLW Tour. Lake Champlain's bountiful bass set records all week as anglers tip scales to unprecedented levels. $210,000 awaits our winners starting right now on FLW Outdoors. Hello, America, and welcome to Plattsburgh, New York, the home of beautiful Lake Champlain. This is the Forrest Wood Open, and I'm Carlton Wing. I love New York, and I'm Taylor Carr.
I'm Charlie Evans here at this event. It's presented by Kellogg's.
Our 10 finalists have taken the stage. These anglers have earned their way to this slot. One of these 10 finalists will raise a $210,000 first place prize. This tournament also very important because qualifying is taking place for the FLW Tour Championship coming up in September. These anglers earn valuable points and valuable seating in a very unique head-to-head style format. That's a lot of fun as well.
And Charlie, all season long, these anglers have said, just wait for Lake Champlain.
What a great place to fish. We have set records on day 1, set records on day 2. We set records on day 3. What a tremendous fishery. The #1 bass fishing site in the world.
It has really been incredible. The key, of course, is to make it past the first 2 days. We started with 178 of the world's best anglers fishing 2 days. The key is to make that top 20. Now add to that the drama of an Angler of the Year race that went right down to the wire. And here's what happened.
This is the Forrest Wood Open here on Lake Champlain. One of these guys will walk away here with $210,000 in cash.
What more could the FLW and its world-class anglers ask for? Beautiful day 1 weather on a beautiful lake and an unheard-of abundance of fish. Talk about fish. Wednesday's weigh-in revealed that of 178 pro anglers, all but 8 bagged the 5-fish limit. Far and away the biggest day 1 this season.
Isn't this a great place to fish? It's the best place that I've ever fished. For sure, it's incredible.
Very early, Michigan's Chad Grigsby set the tone, taking the lead with 19 pounds, 14 ounces. And he had company near the top. Kim Stricker with 18.14, Alton Jones at 18.13, and Rob Kilby at 18.10. Having several big fish was critical. Al Gagliarducci had day 1's big bass, a 6-pound largemouth, but it was his only large fish. Contrast that with Kilby's sack that contained several lunkers. You have the difference between 4th and 74th place.
Talking about Lake Champlain, and to have it bite me like this, I don't like it too much.
The biggest bottleneck on the leaderboard was right around the projected cut line, a crowd that included Paul Elias.
It was a nice day, you know, light winds, and you could see real well. The fish were spawning. I had 16.9 and just hope some more move in because I picked them pretty thin out there along with everybody else.
Angler of the Year points leader Kevin Van Dam stood in 30th place after day 1. If he finished 28th or better, he had the title, no matter what second place Jay Ellis did. But Ellis was in the game in 19th place.
Well, I had just a fair day. I don't know, I've got maybe 15 or 16 pounds, but that's not a real good day on Lake Champlain.
I'll tell you, I was more worried today than I have ever been, going into last day, looking at Angler of the Year. I didn't have that good a practice, and it was a pretty tough day for me today.
Grigsby, meanwhile, was an interested observer who hoped his early lead was a prelude to his first FLW title.
I probably caught 2 limits today, and each fish kept getting better and better. Some are spawned out, and some are still spawned, so I got a little bit of everything.
Day 2.
On day 2, the early bite seemed to say the record catch would continue. Minutes after launch, Coleman pro Charlie Ingram was having success with a tube, and Kellogg's pro Marty Forkiller was on fish too, though he'd later regret not targeting largemouth. But only a few yards away, Kevin Van Dam was struggling, at least by Van Dam standards, and the Angler of the Year race was about to turn around. Van Dam would check in with just under 14 pounds, which placed him in the top 20 briefly, but he quickly dropped well below the cut line as angler after angler beat his weight. Meanwhile, Jay Yellis approached the tent knowing Van Dam was off his game and that a healthy sack would keep him in the race.
Jay Ellis has got 5 in the bag, 17 pounds, 8 ounces, 33.15. He is in.
Yellis made the cut easily, while Van Dam dropped all the way to 44th place, leaving the door wide open. Yellis could clinch the title outright if he finished 15th or better.
You know, it's interesting because I haven't had any pressure on me all week because Kevin had to stumble for me to have a chance to win that Angler of the Year title.
He's catching them real good here, so I'd be disappointed if he didn't win it. You know, I mean, of course I want to win, but it's going to be, you know, it's his to win now.
Van Dam wasn't the only favorite to miss the cut. Clark Wendlandt and Dion Hibden were 4 ounces short, and Wesley Strader, Mike Worm, and Aaron Martins were off by less than a pound. Leading the way for the 20 semifinalists was day 1 leader Chad Grigsby, back for more, followed by Dean Rojas, Scott Martin, Jay Yellis, and Kevin Vida. And for the record, the first 2 days on Champlain produced the 2 biggest total catches in FLW history. Updating the co-angler competition, Rick Lysick of Springfield, Missouri won the $40,000 first prize. And Fred Hill of Roxborough, North Carolina was crowned co-angler of the year. Coming up next from Lake Champlain, Jay Yellis tries to clinch the Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year title.
Welcome back to Plattsburgh, New York, everybody. This is the Forest Wood Open. This is the 6th and final stop on the FLW Tour's regular season. It is a very important tournament, not only for the seeding, but there is a lot more money involved. $1 million will be handed out over the weekend, $210,000 going to our winner. Now, we began this week with a full field of 178 professionals. They cut themselves down to 20, and then from 20 down to 10. The anglers who made today's finals made what we call the Poland cut. Let's meet our 10 finalists right now. Our first angler already owns one big victory in this tournament. He made up a 28-point deficit in the season standings and took the top spot thanks to solid fishing on days 1 and 2. He's in his 3rd FLW final. He is your 2002 Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year from Tyler, Texas, Jay Yellis. Our next angler is making a habit out of making the cut. He's done so 4 times this year, and he was the only angler to catch at least 17 pounds in the first 2 days. He's looking for his first FLW win from Lake Havasu City, Arizona, Dean Rojas. Our next angler already owns 1 FLW tournament championship and is one of the veterans on the tour. He's competing in his 8th top 10 and made the cut thanks to a monster stringer on day 2, 1 ounce shy of 19 pounds from Wagoner, Oklahoma, Tommy Biffle. Our next angler is one of the legends in the sport. He's a 3-time FLW tournament champion competing in his 16th FLW top 10. He has finished in the top 20 of the season standings all but 1 year. From Ava, Missouri, Rick Plunn. Having spent a good portion of this season ranked number 1 in the standings, our next angler is enjoying quite a debut year on the FLW Tour. His consistency is why he's contending once again for an FLW title. From Pecola, Oklahoma, Sam Newby. Our next angler is enjoying one of the greatest years in the history of professional fishing. Already a $700,000 winner in the Ranger M1. He's in his 7th FLW top 10 and always within striking distance of another big payday. From Manteo, North Carolina, David Dudley. Our next angler is in his 2nd FLW final round. He earned his way into the semifinals with a 17-pound, 3-ounce catch. His day 3 weight was 13 pounds, 13 ounces, 6th best in the field of 20. From Canton, Georgia, Mark Harden. Our next angler has been buzzing around the top 10 all week. During yesterday's semifinals, he surged to the top of the heap with a 16-pound, 13-ounce stringer. This is a great story of the tournament. It's his first FLW event. From Lake Wiley, South Carolina, Todd Auten. Our next angler is a past winner of the Forest Wood Open, winning in 1997 on Lake Minnetonka. His 18-pound stringer on day 1 helped keep him in position to host the best, 3rd best total in the semifinals. From Carver, Minnesota, Jim Moyna. Our final angler is a former co-angler of the year. His day 2 total of 18 pounds, 7 ounces was one of the best of the day and made sure he'd have an opportunity to contend for his 2nd FLW tournament title. From Clewiston, Florida, Scott Martin. Ladies and gentlemen, here they are, your 10 finalists for the 2002 Forest Wood Open. Now, this is the Forest Wood Open, and if you want to know what FLW stands for, it's Forrest L. Wood, a man who truly embodies the essence of bass fishing. Our Taylor Carr had an opportunity to talk to Mr. FLW, Forrest Wood.
It's such a beautiful place, friendly people, and great fishing, and what more could a fisherman ask for?
You see all these fish coming in and all these Ranger boats. What do you think?
Oh, I think what a great world it is, and how lucky I am to have been a part of that through the years. Ranger boats have been around for 33 years, I guess, now, and we've seen significant progress made in the sport fishing in this country.
And to have this tour and this tournament named after you, what does that mean to you?
I never expected it to come as far as it has, as fast as it has. And of course, then Irwin Jacobs and the people that have assembled, the great sponsors that we have today, are responsible for it getting where it is today. And it's just a great, great thrill to be associated with an organization that is thought of as highly as this one is by as many people as it is.
Welcome back to the Forest Wood Open on beautiful Lake Champlain. This was a record-setting tournament. Our anglers have circled this date on their calendar many moons ago because they knew the quality fish that were available here in Lake Champlain. Our full field cut themselves down to a semifinal field of 20. That took place yesterday. Yesterday was a big day because our field of 20 cut down to 10. Let's take a look at what happened on day 3 on Lake Champlain.
Day 3.
Two storylines dominated the semifinal round. The first, a talented group of 20 anglers trying to move closer to the $210,000 first place paycheck. The second storyline, one angler trying for 2 big wins. We gave a microphone to another angler who knows a thing or two about tournament pressure, Larry Nixon. Larry asked Jay Yellis about his double-edged day on the water.
It's also a very important tournament for you as far as the Angler of the Year standings is concerned. And man, I'll tell you what, I'm pulling for you. You think you can handle that?
I've gone from having absolutely no pressure on me all week because it's up to Kevin, and he happened to stumble this week. So now I've gone from having no pressure to having all the pressure on me.
Jay needed at least a 16th place finish to overtake Kevin Van Dam for Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year. Jay rose to the occasion, finishing 10th, winning Angler of the Year, and is still in position for another big win this week. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, your 2002 Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year, Jay Yellis. The rest of the field focused on fishing and winning the Forest Wood Open. One angler had caught more than anyone, Chad Grigsby, but Chad symbolized how fishing fortunes change as quickly as the weather. Grigsby caught 1 fish and finished 20th. Jimmy Luthner is a native of the area. He had circled this week on his calendar long ago. Jimmy made quite a run this week, but his semifinal weight of just under 10 pounds was good for a 16th place finish. What remains is one of the most accomplished final rounds in FLW history. 5 former champions joined several of the rising stars on the FLW Tour for a thrilling conclusion to the 2002 Forest Wood Open. It was indeed a very talented group. Our 10 finalists surround our stage right now. We are just moments away from finding out who went fishing and who went catching. Don't go away. The weigh-in starts when we come back. Welcome back to the Forest Wood Open from Plattsburgh, New York. Beautiful Lake Champlain. Let's start weighing in some of these fish now. This will begin our shootout style weigh-in. We've met our anglers. Now let's meet their fish. All right. Our first angler is Jay Yellis, our 2002 Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year. What a better way to get started with this weigh-in now. He'll bring up 1 fish and set the mark. The way this will go is each angler following will have to take their turn on top of the hill to take the lead.
His first fish, 1 pound, 5 ounces, 1.5.
There's our mark. Next up, Dean Rojas from Lake Havasu City, Arizona, and he'll need to bring up a fish or a composite of fish that is at least 1 pound, 6 ounces.
That'll do it. A beautiful smallmouth.
that weighs in at 2 pounds, 13 ounces, 213.
So now Dean Rojas is our leader, and it will be up to Tommy Biffle to come up and bring up a fish that's at least 2 pounds and 14 ounces so that he will then take the lead. The way you stay in the game is by taking the lead.
Looking for 2 pounds and 14 ounces, Tommy Biffle. Winner of our Pascagoula event. That one is 2-1. We'll need at least one more, Tommy, to bring in his second fish. That'll do it. He's got largemouth. 2 fish in the basket here. The weight here, 4 pounds even. 4 even for Tommy Biffle.
Okay, so Tommy now takes his turn on top of the hill. Rick Clunn will come up next, our 4th angler. Rick will need to bring up at least 4 pounds and 1 ounce.
There's fish number 1, a smallmouth, reaching for number 2. Number 2. Here is fish number 3. We'll check that. We need to get to 4 pounds, 1 ounce. Going to need his 4th fish. Here, that will do it for sure. Fish number 4. 4 fish, all alive.
And active.
The weight, 6 pounds, 4 ounces, 6'4".
All right. Rick Clunn is now our leader. Let's go to Sam Newby from Pecola, Oklahoma. Sam will need to bring up 6 pounds and 5 ounces to take the lead.
Oh, that's a great way to start there. Beautiful largemouth, reaching for number 2. That one weighs 3-1. Got to get to 6'5". That's a smallmouth. Looking for 6 pounds, 5 ounces. We're at 5.15. We'll need number 3, and that will do it. Another largemouth, 3 fish in the basket here. Total weight here, 8 pounds, 9 ounces, the new leader.
All right. We've gone halfway around the horn. Now let's bring up our 6th angler, David Dudley. His mark to beat, 8 pounds, 9 ounces.
Former M1 champion, matter of fact, reigning M1 champion, won $700,000 down in Mobile, Alabama. Trying to add another 210 here for a Castro Pro. Needs 8 pounds, 10 ounces to take the lead.
A win here this week would give him $910,000 in winnings in just 2 of the 2 events. Just 2 events.
There is number 3. We're looking for 8, 10. And there's number 4. Let's check the weight and see if that will do it. Four fish. They are alive. We'll get them weighed here in about a half an hour.
Yeah.
These beautiful smallmouth are very active. Get them back out into the lake. 9 pounds, 3 ounces, 9.3, a new leader.
All right. David Dudley has taken his turn on top of the hill. Here comes Mark Harden. Mark needs to bring up 9 pounds and 4 ounces to take his turn on top of the hill and stay in the game. Feeling confident here?
Well, I think I can get there.
Starting with smallmouth there for fish number 1. Predominantly weighed in a lot. Most of the fish have been smallmouth, although we have had some great largemouth springers here this week. Reaching for number 3. Again, 9.4. We're at 6.10. There is fish number 4. Let's see if that will do it. Looking for 9 pounds, 4 ounces. 9 pounds, 14 ounces, a new leader.
All right. That's symbolic of the type of fishing we've seen all week. Our first 7 anglers have all taken their turn in first place. Here comes Todd Otten. Todd had the best stringer of yesterday's semifinal round, 16 pounds, 13 ounces.
In his first top 10 out on the Alpo boat today. Fish number 1's a smallmouth, reaching for number 2. Needs to get to 9.15. Another beautiful fish there. Here's number 3, a largemouth. Reaching for number 4. and this one should put him over the top. 4 fish, the limit is 5. Here's 4 fish that weigh in at 10 pounds, 14 ounces, a new leader, 10-14.
Well done. Well done. All right. Jim Moyna is coming up next. Jim has won this event before back in 97. He's back for more, and he needs to bring up 10 pounds and 15 ounces.
Champion of the Forest Wood Open in the Mall of America in Minneapolis, Minnesota, up on Lake Minnetonka. There's fish number 1, a largemouth, needs to get to 10-15. There is number 2. Here comes number 3. Moving up, now we're in the 7-pound range. Here's number 4. Let's check that one and see if we can get to 10-15. We're at 10 pounds, 4 ounces. We're going to need one more. He's gone back again. 10-4. You'll need one more keeper to take the lead, and that will be his limit fish.
Getting down to the end of that final round now and taking over the top of the hill. Look at that.
Yes. That's the way to finish up a limit there. This is our tournament leader now with a limit of fish, 5 fish that weigh in at 14 pounds, even a new leader.
All right. Well done. That's Jim Moyna.
That big one is for my wife, Deidre, who puts up with me and takes care of the kids by herself at home when I'm gone having fun fishing.
All right, Jim Moyna, ready for Scott Martin now.
Okay, Scott Martin is coming up next. He will round out our first round, our 10th angler. Scott's got quite a bar to climb over. 14 pounds is the mark.
Fish number 1. Here is number 2. Scott won an event down on the Pascagoula River. Matter of fact, ran over to Mobile, Alabama to win that event. $100,000 winner there, trying to add another 210 here. There's 3 keepers so far. The limit's 5. Here's number 4, beautiful smallmouth. And he's going to reach for his tournament limit. Beautiful limit there. He needs to jump above the 14-pound range to take over the lead and kick out Jim Moyna. We have it here, 5 fish in the bag. All 5 alive. The weight. Make sure it's just exactly right. 13 pounds. 14 ounces, 13, 14, just 2 ounces shy.
Oh, it was a great tournament. It really was. I had, thank you. My wife and all of the families at home at Walmart watching, and I came in with a goal to make the top 20, and I prayed a lot about it. We had my whole family and my pastor and everybody at home praying, and the Lord just blessed me, and I just want to say thanks. It's a great lake here, and I had an opportunity to win it today. I lost 3 big fish today, but I'm real pleased with what I caught today.
We got video of you where they can watch what you did there on Lake Champlain, and again, tell us what you're doing here.
Probably right there. I'm probably actually sight fishing that fish. The fish are on these beds in about 8 and 10 foot of water. They're real hard to see, and it's really hurt me the last couple of days with the clouds and the winds that we've had to be able to see the fish.
What bait are you using?
Actually, right there, I was probably using a Matsuo tube. The one I use has little eyes on it. It seems to really aggravate those fish.
Catch a lot of fish today?
No, not really. Not really. I had to hunt and pick and catch the ones that I figured would help. I knew that I needed at least 15 pounds to win, so I wasn't trying to catch any small ones today.
Just fishing for the big fish, and now later in the day.
I'm not sure which one this is here. That was that largemouth. I think I weighed it in. That's kind of what hurt me. I might have actually got rid of that one. I think actually I pulled that fish later.
Catch a lot of keepers out there today?
No. Like I said, I only caught maybe 6 or 8 keepers today. I only really tried to catch what would help me. I had some really big smallmouth, and my best smallmouth spot didn't pay off today. But, the Lord just blessed me. I'm just real happy with the finish, and I just want to thank everybody at home and thank the audience for all the prayers and the support. And it's a great town. I hope we come back.
We will be back. Scott Martin.
Okay. We've gone through our first round. 9 anglers still remain. 1 angler has weighed out. Our second round is coming up when we come back. The first round is complete. Here is your leaderboard. Jim Moyna is out on top, followed by Scott Martin, Todd Auden, Mark Harden, and David Dudley. That's your front five. Sam Newby, Rick Clunn, Tommy Biffle, Dean Rojas, and Jay Yellis round out your top 10. The anglers are not the only ones that are paying close attention to the proceedings on stage here today. Taylor Carr is in the audience with a guest who is also
with Angela Cannizzaro, David Dudley's fiance. Now, do you know how David did today, Angela?
No, I usually do, but I had no idea today.
Are you ready to be married to a pro angler?
I think so. She'll keep your heart thumping.
Where are you guys going on your honeymoon?
I don't know yet.
Don't let him take you fishing, okay?
Oh, no, I won't.
Angela Cannizzaro, she's rooting for David Dudley, Carlton.
Well, the way David's been catching fish, they might be right back here at Lake Champlain for their honeymoon. How about that? Round number 2. Let's get started with Jay Yellis. Now, Jay weighed in 1 fish in the first round, 1 pound 5 ounces, but that bar has risen significantly since. 12 pounds and 11 ounces is what we're looking for now in the second round.
Starts with a largemouth there. That would be his second fish. Here's fish number 3. Going to have to move up in size here, Jay. They fish in the Kellogg's boat out there. There's number 4. 1 more for the tournament limit, and that's a limit of fish for him. These 4 weigh, he needs 12, 11. This won't do it. These 4 weigh in at 5 pounds, 10 ounces, 5, 10. Not enough, Jay.
No, not enough, but it's been a great week, Charlie. I think I might have had a little bit of a mental letdown today after I was pushing so hard to win that Angler of the Year title all week, and I won that yesterday, and I changed water today. I've been fishing south way down the lake, and I just fished up north today. Tried to do some different things to catch.
Let's watch you out there on Lake Champlain and see something that you're doing. Again, explain to us what you're doing.
I think I'm fishing a spinnerbait right here, trying to catch some largemouth up in Missisquoi Bay. I went up there and fished all day, trying to catch a little bit bigger fish, but it didn't pan out. It's a hard thing to do. I hadn't been up there for 6 days. I was really out of tune with what's going on. I was just a gamble. I rolled the dice and tried to go up there to catch some 3 to 4 pound largemouth, try to find them in just a few quick, short hours, but it didn't work.
Again, the reason for that switch, you didn't feel like you had large enough fish in what you'd been fishing.
Right. I only had like 10 pounds yesterday in the water I was fishing down south, so I thought I'd change and go somewhere else today. And you have to gamble sometimes in these tournaments to have a chance to win.
Absolutely. When you get in this position, obviously, you're going to try to go for the win. And again, the big thing for you was, yesterday took a ton of weight off of your shoulders, that Angler of the Year title.
That was a big thrill. That was a real highlight for me, Charlie. One of the highlights of my whole fishing career, to win that Angler of the Year title. And it was just it's been a great week. I love fishing Lake Champlain. It's one of the best bass lakes in the country. And it really is. You guys, I hope everybody that lives up here appreciates what's in their backyard. Not only is it a great fishing lake, but there's some of the prettiest scenery in the lake. I mean, you get out in the middle of the lake down there around the Four Brothers Islands down there, and you got all those mountains on both sides of the lake. It is just you can definitely see God through His creation on this lake.
Absolutely. As the Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year, you'll get $25,000 in cash, and you'll also appear on the box of catalogs here and be a national hero.
Yeah, that's a real thrill. I can't wait to call my nieces and nephews and tell them to run out to Walmart and buy a box of cornflakes. That'll be fun.
Our 2002 Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year, Mr. Jay Yellis.
Okay. All right, we've weighed out 2 anglers. We have 8 remaining. The weigh-in continues when we come back. Welcome back to Plattsburgh, New York, everybody. We just heard from our 2002 Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year. Now let's hear from Mrs. Yellis. She's with Taylor Carr. Taylor?
Jill Yellis with daughters Hannah and Bethany. Jay just weighed out. Are you disappointed, Jill?
I am a little bit. We are still just so thrilled at the Angler of the Year title. That was such a feather in his hat and such a blessing. So we are just rejoicing.
What does it mean to Jay to win Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year?
Well, an Angler of the Year title, as everyone knows, is the best fisherman for that year. And so at that competitive level on the FLW Tour is just incredible. So we are just so thankful.
Bill Yellis, thanks a lot. Jay's going to look good on a box of Kellogg's, Carlton.
Can't wait for breakfast in the Yellis home. Let's continue on now, round number 2. Dean Rojas is coming up next. Now, Dean has brought up one fish. He needs 11 pounds and 3 ounces for the lead.
Here's fish number 1 all week long. Dean's saying I'm right on track, all the way through day 1, right on track on day 2, right on track on day 3. Let's see if he's still on track on day 4. He needs 11 pounds, 4 ounces, 11.4. There is a beautiful fish there. And here is his limit fish. He needs 1 for a limit, and that's it. The 5-fish limit for Dean Rojas, 14 pounds, is in the lead. He only needs 11.3, 11.4 to take over the lead. And these 4 fish weigh in at 13 pounds, 3 ounces, a new leader, 13.3. And that kicks out Jim Mona. Jim?
Jim Moyna was our previous leader at 14 pounds even. Jim has now weighed out.
Dean brought in 16 pounds. 14 pounds is still a great shot for today.
Well, Dean had he'd been pretty consistent, bringing in some good bags all 3 days, and I knew he wouldn't let himself down again today. So with my 14 pounds, I knew that really wasn't gonna, cut the mustard on this lake.
It's a great finish. We'll have a good check for him. Let's give him a great round of applause. Jim Mona. Thank you, Jim.
All right, that brings up our next angler. Tommy Biffle is next. Tommy weighed in 2 fish in the first round. He is now 12 pounds in the deficit. So that's what we need to retake the lead.
Dean Rojas at 16 pounds even. Tommy needs 12 pounds, 1 ounce to take the lead. There is fish number 1. And fish number 2. Get Tommy catching a largemouth also. He's 12 pounds, 1 ounce. This will be his limit fish. 3 fish, that makes 5 he's weighed in total. 3 fish, their total weight, 9 pounds even, not quite enough today.
Yeah, Charlie, I knew I needed a big bite all day long and caught a lot of fish. I think the cloudy weather hurt me today. I was catching them flipping in bushes, and they're out running around and playing in the grass and not up there where they need to be.
Well, you caught them all week long, not enough today. Great round of applause for our Chevy Poe, Tommy Biffle.
All right, we've weighed out 4, 6 remain. Let's begin now with Rick Clunn. Rick has brought up 4 fish and needs, he needs more fish than what he has.
Champion Rick Clunn ran it in, only 4 keepers today.
Yeah, they just didn't want to play today with me. I was afraid of the cloudy weather. The first 2 days of practice, sunny, I did real good. I got on fish, and then it got cloudy, and I started to struggle even after knowing where the fish were. And I just can't figure out smallmouth. I've got a lot to learn about smallmouth on cloudy days. I can't figure them boogers out. When it's sunny, you can catch them. But when it gets cloudy for me, I just struggle with them.
Ricky Clunn can't figure them out. It is tough. Again, great champion Rick Clunn. Let's give him a great round of applause. Thank you, Rick.
All right, 5 anglers out, 5 anglers in. Sam Newby is coming up next. Sam has weighed in 3 fish and needs 7 pounds and 8 ounces to retake the lead.
7, 8. You'll have to have 2 really good fish. There's one that weighs in the 3-pound range, so he'll need a 4.5 pounder. And that's going to be close. That's his limit. Again, he needs 7 pounds, 8 ounces to overtake Dean Rojas. He has 2 fish here and their weight. £7 pounds, 8 ounces, by 1 ounce, the new leader. And that spells disaster for Dean Rojas. Man, alive, right on track all week long, and he got you by 1 ounce here.
Charlie, that's okay, because, folks, I fished a perfect tournament. I never lost a fish all week, made good decisions, and caught limits of fish every day. And, if Sam wins, and he deserves it, I did my best.
Absolutely. You fished almost flawlessly all week long. What was your plan? You had a great plan going through.
traditionally here on Champlain, all the homework that I've done, it takes largemouth to win. And I knew that with the spawn coming out, that was my strength, and that's where I needed to be. And that's what I did. I targeted. I had some smallmouth fish going as a backup pattern, but my main pattern was largemouth. And I figure I can catch 16, 17, possibly 18 pounds a day, get me into the top 20, and then eventually the top 10, and slug it out on Saturday. And looks like I came up about an ounce shy. But like I said, Charlie, I'm very happy with my performance. I fished a perfect tournament, just 1 ounce short.
Yamaha Pro Dean Rojas didn't win this one, but he will be back. Dean Rojas, great job.
Okay, David Dudley is coming up next. David's weighed in 4 fish. David represents the first of our final 4 anglers in the quest to now knock off Sam Newby, who is our leader. David needs 6 pounds, 15 ounces.
That's a beautiful fish, but it won't weigh in that category. But again, a limit here, a nice solid fish here that weighs 3 pounds, 4 ounces, 3-4. A great day for you.
Yeah, I'm blessed beyond measures. The Lord's blessed me well this week. I truly had to rely on Him as always the whole week, and probably messed up a little bit today. I went for the largemouth, and I needed the sun, and my gut kept telling me quit and leave them things alone and go for the smallmouth. So I did the last hour and started culling, and hindsight's 20/20. But
David Dudley, our M1 champion, a great job here. Let's give him a great round of applause.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have weighed out 7 anglers. Sam Newby, Todd Otten, and Mark Harden remain in the quest for the championship. We will find out who our champion is coming up when we come back. Here is your leaderboard as we work our way through our top 10 anglers. Sam Newby is out in front. Dean Rojas is in second place. He has weighed out. So also has Jim Moyna, Scott Martin, and Tommy Biffle. That's your top 5. And then next up in 6th place, David Dudley, followed by Todd Otten and Mark Harden. Both of those anglers still have fish to weigh in potentially and could take this lead. Jay Ellis and Rick Clunn round out your top 10. Our leader is Sam Newby. He is with Charlie Evans. Charlie?
Sam Newby of Pensacola, Oklahoma, you're on the top board now, only 2 remaining.
Well, let's just see what they got.
No, we're not quite ready to weigh those in yet. We're going to, again, tell us about your fishing day today.
Well, I had to change up a little bit today. I've been flipping bushes all week, and today it clouded up, and the fish didn't really get in the bushes, and I had to go to a fluke, and I had one place that I had some fish on a bed that I didn't know if they were still there or not. They were there Wednesday, and I tried to stay off of them, and I made the gamble and ran down there today, and they were there, and there were even some more there. So everything worked out great.
Even more fish than when you left on Wednesday, but you hadn't been back there until today. That's taking an awful big chance.
Yeah. Well, this is the day to take a chance if you're going to take one.
Again, when it's cloud cover, you were flipping bushes. You really wanted sunshine for those bush fish to work.
Oh, yeah. I was really worried this morning when the clouds came in and no wind, and I didn't know if I could catch them or not. And I had to change, like I say, I had to change and go to a fluke to catch them.
But we got you here with throwing that fluke. You look like you're out in the middle of the weeds.
Yeah, that fish right there came on a fluke out in front of the bushes and the weeds.
What color fluke are you using?
It was a white with fluke. It had blue and silver crystal in the back.
Now you switched completely into some heavy cover.
I caught a few fish out of the willows, but not a whole lot.
That fish is way back there.
Yeah, I think I wound up culling that fish.
But that's got to be scary. Look at that dangling out there in the air where you're trying to get to it.
Yeah, at the time I wanted it real bad.
Maybe $210,000 hanging out there.
Yeah.
All right, got it in. You sure you didn't weigh that fish?
I don't think I did.
Back to the fluke?
No, these right here was my sight fish, I think.
And what are you throwing there?
A jig.
So you're using a lot of different baits.
No, that there was my smallmouth this morning. I caught it on a jerk bait.
Jerk bait. So you are using a variety of lures, fishing both largemouth and smallmouth.
Yeah, I've been stopping in on this one place every morning, catching 2 or 3 smallmouth pretty quick, and just trying to get things started.
It looks like that one there, you got him back in the boat. And again, that may be the fish there that puts you over the top. I don't know. We still got 2 dynamite guys out there that could knock you off the top.
Yeah, let's see what they got.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk you up to the front there and watch these last two weigh in and see if they can come enough to knock you out. Sam Newby, our leader, Carlton.
Okay, Sam Newby has 16 pounds and 1 ounce, and Sam will come up and watch now as we bring up Mark Harden. Mark will bring up his 5th and final fish. He needs a whopper, 6 pounds and 4 ounces to take the lead. Here comes Mark. He's got a big grin on his face. We'll see if he has a big fish.
He's going to need a huge fish. And that's a beautiful fish, but it's not going to be big enough. This fish weighs in at... It is alive as all our fish have been. Get them right back out into Lake Champlain.
Fish wants some extra fin time there.
Was that tough to get in the boat?
No, that one wouldn't.
All right. 2 pounds. Just relax, Sam. 2 pounds, 6 ounces, not enough, but again, I had a great week.
It was fabulous. I've been looking forward to this ever since it was announced, and what a great fishery you have here. This is my favorite place to come, and I've always had success up here at catching these smallmouth, and I'd fished a place down south the first 2 days and was catching some good quality smallmouth down there. And then the third day I couldn't go, or I chose not to go. It would have been iffy if I could have got down there with the wind the way it was. And then today there was a big tournament going out at the south end, I was told, something like 200 boats. So I chose not to go down there because some of the guys I had seen while I was fishing were down there practicing around me and fishing where I was fishing. So I chose not to go and stayed up here. And I had a place pretty close to here, and I started on this morning. I never got bit. I had 5 bites off of it yesterday morning, and I never got bit this morning. Well, I wound up on it this afternoon, and we didn't have 10 minutes. And the last 2 or 3 casts, I caught a walleye, and I had 2 good smallmouth come up, which it probably wouldn't have been enough to
Not quite enough for him, but did a great job. Mark Harden, super job. 1 more man remaining, Sam Newby.
Okay.
Let's get him up here, too. Get him up here fast.
Here comes Todd Otten. Todd is the last man who can take the title away from Sam Newby. He needs a 5-pound, 4-ounce fish.
And Sam says that was not going to be big enough. This one here weighs in at 2 pounds, 11 ounces. We have a champion, Sam Newby.
Sam Newby, your 2002 Forest Wood Open champion. Sam, it's been an incredible year, and what a thrilling finish to the regular season.
I don't know what to say right now. I've been shooting at this all year, and it finally happened.
Fantastic. Well, we will take a quick break. We'll hear more from our champion and wrap up our leaderboard coming up when we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Sam Newby and his family, and a $210,000 check presented by Dave Lonsberry of Kellogg's. Sam Newby, your champion. You have seen the best in professional fishing once again on FLW Outdoors. Sam Newby, your newest champion as we wrap up the regular season. The FLW Tour Championship awaits, and be sure to tune in next week as we will wrap up all of the exciting action on FLW Outdoors. Here's a look at your final leaderboard. Thanks for watching, everybody, on FLW Outdoors.
Just it out, reeling it in. Got me a bite, let the fun begin. Gone fishing. Which takes the bait, gonna give it some slack. She's the trophy winner, and I'm bringing it back. Gone fishing. Gone fishing. This must be paradise. Gone fishing. Oh, gone fishing.
The FLW regular season finale came down to 1 ounce. Sam Newby prevailed, and the champion joins us in our studios today. The field is set for September's FLW Tour Championship. We'll preview some exciting head-to-head matchups, plus we'll recap the thrilling 2002 season, starting right now on FLW Outdoors. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the exciting world of Walmart FLW Outdoors. I'm Carlton Wing.
And I'm Taylor Carr. This is the show that brings you action from the most exciting and lucrative fishing series around, the FLW Tour.
Now, we just got back from beautiful Lake Champlain, where the catch was unbelievable. Coming up in the show, we'll get a complete recap, meet the new champion, and see how the Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year race was a real nail-biter.
Let's get right to the Forest Wood Open on Lake Champlain, which the anglers had talked about all year, and for good reason.
This is the Forest Wood Open here on Lake Champlain. One of these guys will walk away here with $210,000 in cash.
What more could the FLW and its world-class anglers ask for? Beautiful day one weather on a beautiful lake and an unheard of abundance of fish. And talk about fish. Wednesday's weigh-in revealed that of 178 pro anglers, all but 8 bagged the 5-fish limit. It was the biggest single-day weight in FLW history.
Isn't this a great place to fish? It's the best place that I've ever fished, for sure. It's incredible.
Very early, Michigan's Chad Grigsby set the tone, taking the lead with 19 pounds, 14 ounces. And he had company near the top. Kim Stricker with 18.14, Alton Jones at 18.13, and Rob Kilby at 18.10. Having several big fish was critical. Al Gagliarducci had day one's big bass, a 6-pound largemouth, but it was his only large fish. Contrast that with Kilby's sack that contained several lunkers. You have the difference between 4th and 74th place.
Talked about Lake Champlain, and to have it bite me like this, I don't like it too much.
The biggest bottleneck on the leaderboard was right around the projected cut line, a crowd that included Paul Elias.
It was a nice day, you know, light winds, and you could see real well. The fish are spawning. I had 16.9, and just hope some more move in because I picked them pretty thin out there along with everybody else.
The Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year race got interesting when points leader Kevin Van Dam finished the day in 30th place. He had to improve to 28th or better to become the first angler to clinch back-to-back titles.
I'll tell you, I was more worried today than I have ever been, you know, going into the last day, looking at Angler of the Year. I didn't have that good a practice, and it was a pretty tough day for me today.
Yamaha pro Jay Ellis would have a shot at the title, but he'd have to make the cut and hope Van Dam didn't.
Well, I had just a fair day. I don't know, I've got maybe 15 or 16 pounds, so, but that's not a real good day on Lake Champlain.
Day 2.
On day 2, the early bite seemed to say the record catch would continue. Minutes after launch, Coleman pro Charlie Ingram was having success with a tube, and Kellogg's pro Marty Forkiller was on fish too, though he'd later regret not targeting largemouth. But only a few yards away, Kevin Van Dam was struggling, at least by Van Dam standards, and the Angler of the Year race was about to turn around. Van Dam only managed 44th place, leaving the door wide open for Yellis if Jay could make the cut.
Jay Ellis has got 5 in the bag, 17 pounds, 8 ounces, 33.15. He is in.
You know, it's interesting because I haven't had any pressure on me all week because Kevin had to stumble for me to have a chance to win that Angler of the Year title. He's catching them real good here, so I'd be disappointed if he didn't win it. You know, I mean, of course I want to win, but it's going to be, you know, it's his to win now.
Yellis could clinch the title outright on day 3 if he finished in 15th place or better. Van Dam wasn't the only heavyweight to miss the cut. Clark Wendlandt and Dion Hibden were 4 ounces short, and Wesley Strader, Mike Worm, and Aaron Martins were off by less than a pound. Leading the way for the 20 semifinalists was day 1 leader Chad Grigsby, followed by Dean Rojas, Scott Martin, Yellis, and Kevin Biden.
Angler after angler told us this was the best fishing they had ever seen.
And since nearly everybody had the limit, the difference was having a couple of fish in the 4 and 5 pound range. As you'll see in a few minutes, it came down to a single ounce.
The main problem most guys do on a good lake like this is that they relax once they get their limit, and especially if it's a decent limit, like you can catch here pretty quick if you're fortunate. But that's a mistake because you got to keep pushing. Every ounce, every half a pound can make the difference. You got to start over like you don't have a limit and try to catch another limit. It's not about who catches the most. It's about who catches the best ones.
And welcome back to FLW Outdoors and the feeding frenzy that was the Forest Wood Open on Lake Champlain.
As the semifinal round approached, windy weather had anglers adjusting their strategy. Here's a look at that semifinal round and those who survived the cut.
Day 3.
Two storylines dominated the semifinal round. The first, a talented group of 20 anglers trying to move closer to the $210,000 first place paycheck. The second storyline, one angler trying for 2 big wins. We gave a microphone to another angler who knows a thing or two about tournament pressure, Larry Nixon. Larry asked Jay Yellis about his double-edged day on the water.
It's also a very important tournament for you as far as the Angler of the Year standings is concerned. And man, I'll tell you what, I'm pulling for you. You think you can handle that?
I've gone from having absolutely no pressure on me all week because it's up to Kevin, and he happened to stumble this week. So now I've gone from having no pressure to having all the pressure on me.
Jay needed at least a 16th place finish to overtake Kevin Van Dam for Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year. Jay rose to the occasion, finishing 10th, winning Angler of the Year, and is still in position for another big win this week.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, your 2002 Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year, Jay Yellis.
The rest of the field focused on fishing and winning the Forest Wood Open. One angler had caught more than anyone, Chad Grigsby, but Chad symbolized how fishing fortunes change as quickly as the weather. Grigsby caught 1 fish and finished 20th. Jimmy Luthner is a native of the area. He had circled this week on his calendar long ago. Jimmy made quite a run this week, but his semifinal weight of just under 10 pounds was good for a 16th place finish. What remains is one of the most accomplished final rounds in FLW history. 5 former champions joined several of the rising stars on the FLW Tour for a thrilling conclusion to the 2002 Forest Wood Open.
Well, FLW anglers caught fish in record numbers on Lake Champlain, and so did the co-anglers. Their competition ended Friday with a top prize of $40,000 on the line. When Judy Israel brought over 18 pounds to the day 1 weigh-in, she briefly held the lead, not just for co-anglers, but for the entire field. It was a plentiful catch from both ends of the boat. Every co-angler caught a fish, and there were well over 100 limits for the co's. Friday's final round produced a great stringer for Springfield, Missouri's Rick Lysick, an FLW rookie who caught all his fish on a jerkbait.
5 fish here, 13 pounds, 12 ounces. We have a new leader.
Man, this is great. I mean, I've never experienced anything like this. It's just awesome.
Israel had a chance to take the lead from Lysick, but fell about 6 pounds short. It came down to Lysick and day 2 leader Craig Clayton.
This number 3. There's no rush here, is there?
A big rush.
Big rush. This reaches for number 4. That's it. 3 fish in the bag. Raw weight here. 4 pounds, 1 ounce is the raw weight. We have a champion.
Man, I've had a great week. I've never caught so many fish in my whole life. I mean, I may move here.
They move up here.
I actually thought I had closer to 14 or 14 and a half. I didn't know, and I didn't care. I just wanted to get it over with.
Lysick takes home $40,000 in his first appearance in an FLW final. And congratulations to the Co-Angler of the Year winner. It's Fred Hill of Roxborough, North Carolina. He edged Al Little by 2 points.
And here's an FLW Outdoors get well soon to WD Hoot Gibson. Hoot was among the top co-anglers this year, but he missed fishing at Champlain when he had a heart attack right before traveling to New York.
We hope Hoot's back to full strength on the championship in September.
Well, back to the pros and the exciting conclusion of the Forest Wood Open. The wind died down as day 4 dawned, setting the stage for what proved to be the closest finish in FLW history. Put yourself in Todd Otten's shoes. One day, you're entering your first ever FLW event. 3 days later, you're fishing in the final against Rick Clunn, Jay Yellis, Dean Rojas, and David Dudley, all with $210,000 on the line. Talented, exciting, intimidating. Words that describe the final field for the 2002 Forest Wood Open. One of the finalists already owned a huge victory this week. When Jay Yellis overtook Kevin Van Dam for Angler of the Year on Friday, it made Saturday feel pretty good no matter what happened.
It's been a great week, Charlie. I think I might have had a little bit of a mental letdown today after I was pushing so hard to win that Angler of the Year title all week.
One thing the anglers knew heading into Saturday's competition, catching fish wasn't the problem. Catching quality fish would determine the champion.
If I had to keep that one, I ain't gonna win.
Minnesota's Jim Moyna, who always seems to thrive during a Forest Wood Open, landed a big fish that would give him a trifecta. He won the Forest Wood Open in 1997. He finished second in 98. He finished third this year.
Yeah, baby. That'll add some coin to the pocket.
Stanley Pro Scott Martin was in third place after day 2. He had the big fish on the final day, but lost 3 others like this one and finished fourth.
Yeah, that's what we're out here for, guys.
2 top guns on this year's tour battled down to the final ounce for this year's title. Yamaha Pro Dean Rojas and FLW newcomer Sam Newby. $210,000 to the winner and $105,000 for second place. 7 pounds, 8 ounces, by 1 ounce, a new leader. And that spells disaster for Dean Rojas. The numbers of the Stanley stats reveal the record-breaking angling on Lake Champlain. The pros caught 170 limits on the first day, an FLW record. Just 8 pros failed to catch a limit. On cut day, the difference between first and 20th place was a mere 3 pounds, 5 ounces, the narrowest margin all season. Everyone was catching fish. No lead was safe. Champion Sam Newby proved that with his rise in the standings each day. Newby jumped from 22nd to 14th to 2nd after the semifinal round before he won the title on Saturday. The post-tournament awards also proved how a few ounces could make a difference in the overall race. Tommy Biffle was in 103rd place after day 1. He leapt all the way to a 6th place finish and won the Energizer Keeps On Going award. Shopback's Clean Sweep Award credits the angler who owned the best total weight for the first 3 days. Yamaha Pro Dean Rojas with 50 pounds, 8 ounces. Sam Newby is the newest name on the FLW Champions list. He capped off his first full FLW season in glorious and profitable style.
Coming up next on FLW Outdoors, the newest champion on tour, Sam Newby, joins us in our studios.
Me and my buddy of mine was fishing a buddy tournament on 10 killer one time. We was catching fish on a Carolina rig. We had 4 fish in the boat, and it was about 9:30, and I hung our fed fish, and he came up and jumped, and I seen it was a Kentucky. And it wasn't a real big fish. It was about a 13-inch fish. I didn't holler for the net, and I told him, I was just going to swing it in the boat. And when I wanted to swing it in the boat, it came off midair, and it hit the deck right there and bounced out the other side. But when it came off, I went to diving for it. And I went ahead and went over the boat after it, and the fish jumped back up beside the boat, and I grabbed it with my hands and threw it in the boat. My buddy said, "Man, how did you do that?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "I guess I've been watching the bears on the Discovery Channel too much."
And welcome back to Walmart FLW Outdoors. We are joined now by the very agile Sam Newby. He's in the studio with our Carlton Wing.
Sam, let me first ask you, when you won the championship last week, we asked you to take that check to the bank. Did you take the really big one?
I was going to, but I just took the little one.
Decided not to.
Happy with it.
How has winning changed your outlook on fishing now? It's been a great season for you, but you capped it off in championship style.
It's just awesome. I mean, I really can't describe it. I've been looking for this all year, and I finally got it, and I'll be back next year now.
Well, this is your first full FLW season for you to take part in every event. You have buzzed around the top 10 in the Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year race. You were even in first place at one point in the season. This had to give you a lot of confidence heading into next season as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't wait for next year.
Talk a little bit about how much of a role confidence plays in an angler's mind.
If you don't have confidence, you're never going to get it done. I mean, you've got to have confidence in yourself to go out and make decisions and do what you think's right.
Is it easy to have confidence when you're fishing the waters of Lake Champlain?
It makes it a lot easier.
Tell me a little bit now, as you practiced for Lake Champlain, you had a successful practice period?
Yeah, I had a real good practice. My 14-year-old son went up there with me and practiced with me, and we caught fish every day. We had awesome practice.
And this was your first ever visit to Lake Champlain. So what were you looking for? Because you had a short period of time to get to know what the waters were like.
Well, I'd done my research on the internet and studied maps. And the first day I got there, I went fishing for largemouth, and
the first place I stopped, we was there. I think my son caught a 4.5 pounder on the third throw. So,
Oh, wow.
This might work out all right.
We've got some video of your day out on the water. This is your final round, your championship round here. And this is in chronological order of the fish that you caught throughout the day. Talk a little bit about what worked for you in the early going.
Well, that right there, I was catching fish every day on a jerk bait. I could catch a lot of smallmouth in a day, but getting the quality, I felt like I wasn't going to have the quality that I can get if I spent most of my time fishing for largemouth.
Early on, you said, if I have to weigh this one in, I'm not going to win.
That's right. I mean, I could catch a lot of those little ones, and I could probably have caught 14 to 15 pounds of smallmouth a day, but I didn't really have the confidence in them doing well as I did with largemouth.
At what point do you decide to make an adjustment? When do you give up on one style and go to another pattern?
Well, like I say, that smallmouth deal there, I always knew it was there to fall back on. I mean, the way it worked out, that area I had, it was about a fish every 10 minutes. And I'd pull in there and spend 30 minutes and catch 3, and I always knew I could come back there and finish up whatever I needed. And as far as changing, I just let the weather dictate what I needed to be doing, and happened to make all the right decisions this time.
Oh, that's true. And as the day wore on, you could say that your tournament was won at your last spot, right about 12:15. You had to head in at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right about then was when you caught 2 big ones that put a big smile on your face.
Those were the 2 I've been looking for all day, and when I got down there and they were still there, I was happy. And then whenever they bit me, I was real happy.
Now we've got some of the lures that you were able to use, and you did quite a bit. Let's see here. We've got a couple of jigs here. You said, was this the jig that you caught most of them on?
That's the jig I caught most of my fish on throughout the week when it was bright and sunny. I was throwing that on 25-pound line back in the bushes. And that was my number 1 bait throughout the week.
And you've got the trailer. In fact, this is one of your big ones right here. And then you made a modification to your jig. And this is kind of interesting to see the type of modification. If I can get this to where we can see it at home there. You've got a different type of a trailer on this. And tell everybody what this is.
Well, that there is the tail off of a fluke. And it gives it a kind of a flat section on the bottom. And it lets the jig sit flat on bottom whenever it lands in a nest. And whenever you're swimming the jig through weeds, it stays real straight. And I use that jig. I was using that on 20-pound test line doing my sight fishing with it.
Wow. So this helped keep it upright. And here is the fluke as well. And
yeah, the fluke, whenever it clouded up the 3rd day, the fish weren't really sticking in the bushes like I wanted them to. But I got the fluke out and just fished out in front of the bushes, fished in the grass, and wound up catching quite a few fish on the fluke.
And lastly, we've got the Lucky Craft crankbait here.
Yeah, that little Lucky Craft crankbait there. That was my ace in the hole. I always knew I could go throw it and catch a limit of smallmouth anytime I wanted it.
We had a piece earlier in this season about Gerald Swindle losing his Lucky Craft, and it really ruined his tournament for him. So you get quite attached to these as well.
Oh, yes.
Larry Nixon also, he previewed Lake Champlain for us. We had an opportunity to talk to him as the tournament was winding down and gather his thoughts on the incredible fishery of Lake Champlain.
I told you it's going to be fabulous. You know, it's the greatest lake in the United States as far as I'm concerned in total fish. And the hard thing about tournament fishing on a lake like this is that there's so many different patterns that's going to catch fish. You know, we had bed fish, we had fluke and jerk shad fish and tube fish, and there was just so many different patterns. And it was hard to stay with one thing all day long. And sometimes that's what you got to do to catch the bigger fish. And the boys that really worked hard at it and stayed with some of the moving baits caught the big ones this time.
Lake Champlain truly lived up to its expectations. We'll have more with our champion, Sam Newby, coming up when we come back. Welcome back to FLW Outdoors. I'm Carlton Wing, and I'm joined by our champion from Lake Champlain, Sam Newby of Pecola, Oklahoma. Did Lake Champlain live up to the billing for you?
Everything I heard about it was great before I got there, and I got there, and it was as much as I expected and more.
And now I love New York.
Oh, definitely.
What got you started in fishing?
I've always loved fishing ever since I was a little kid. My dad used to take me, and I've always dreamed of it. Being a professional angler, I used to watch Roland Martin and Jimmy Houston and Bill Dance, Rick Clunn, the whole bunch, you know, and I always thought that'd be neat if you could make a living doing that, so.
And now here you are.
Here I am. I finally made a living at it this year.
You had a season of about $236,000 in winnings over the course of the year. Of course, 210 from the victory on Lake Champlain. He finished in the top 10 in the Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year, actually the top 5, because he finished at number 5. An incredible breakthrough season. What can we expect from the future of Sam Newby?
Well, I'll be back out there trying again next year. You can bet on that.
As you look back in your career and as you've got this great season now to build on, who were some of the mentors that you had growing up?
Well, my dad probably. I mean, he always took me fishing a lot whenever I was young. My grandpas, I mean, I was blessed. I had 4 grandpas when I was a little boy, so I always had somebody to take me fishing.
Can you remember your first catch?
I probably can't remember back that far because they've got pictures of me at home whenever I was just a little bitty holding a cane pole. So I can remember back whenever Kerr Lake was a new lake and just going up there and catching a lot of 4 and 5 pound fish whenever I was like 12 or 13 years old. And that's really what got me hooked on it.
And now you have an opportunity to pursue this passion professionally. This was an avenue that was really not open to most people decades ago, but now more and more anglers are able to pursue this. Does this dream come true?
Oh, yeah. I mean, with the money that's in fishing nowadays, it's, you know, like you say, there's a lot more money in it. There's a lot more chances for a lot more people to make a living at it. And I want to thank Ranger Boats and everybody that's helped me out through the years. And it's just a great sport, and I'm glad to be here in it.
You've risen through the ranks. You've competed in the BFL. You've competed in the EverStart Series. And was that a good preparation for what you were going to face in the FLW?
To me, I think it's really the best way for somebody to come up. That way, I mean, if you get to where you can compete in the BFL level, then you're ready to move up to the EverStart level. And whenever you get to where you're competing in that, I think you're ready to step up to the next level.
Let's see how ready you are. We've got the leaderboard now from Lake Champlain. This is how it all ended up. And there, we've got the money list there. Sam Newby, 1 ounce better than Dean Rojas. Both guys walked away with some pretty good paychecks, but 210's a lot better than 105, isn't it?
Yeah, that 1 ounce is worth a lot.
There you go. Jim Moyna and Scott Martin. Todd Otten rounds out your top 5. Then it's Tommy Biffle, David Dudley, who's had a great year as well, Mark Harden, Jay Yellis, your Angler of the Year, and one of the legends, Rick Clunn. Well, each week we also have an opportunity for our viewers to write in a question, and we have a question for you from Rich Santangelo of Oaklawn, Illinois. He writes, I'm having a really rough time fishing on windy days. When it's windy, I can't seem to effectively use my trolling motor. I also have trouble with my bait presentation, so consequently, I find myself trying to find water that is out of the wind, and unfortunately, I rarely seem to be able to find any fish in those areas. Any suggestions would be helpful. Here is Sam Newby with your answer.
Well, first of all, I would probably look for a bigger trolling motor if you're not being able to get around in the wind, because you definitely have to fish in the wind to catch fish after they spawn, especially. And as far as your bait presentation, a lot of times whenever it gets windy, you have to change baits. I suggest going to a spinnerbait or something. You can really fish a spinnerbait effectively in a strong wind. And that would be the 2 number 1 things I can tell you.
All right, fantastic. That is Sam Newby, your champion from Lake Champlain. A great, thrilling finish to our 2002 regular season. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
All righty. Best of luck. Taylor, back to you.
Sam is a 4-year veteran of the EverStart Series, and here's an update on the first event in the EverStart Northern Division taking place on the Mississippi River in Minnesota. A list of anglers making the cut includes second-day leader Howie Lee of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, also Kevin Vida, Kobe Krieger, Karen Savick, and our own Charlie Evans, who made the finals. I guess Charlie does know what he's talking about. Congratulations. While the Central and Eastern divisions have wrapped up, the competition in the Northern Division is just getting. We'll head to Lake Champlain for their next event in July. We'll air the EverStart Championship this November from Lake Martin in Alabama. Coming up next on FLW Outdoors, class resumes in Fishing 101 as Fuji Pro Wes Thomas teaches fishing with a wacky worm.
I'm using just a wacky, what we call a wacky worm, zoom trick worm here. And I fish it, this is 15-pound test line. And the hook that I use, as you can see, has got a little weight built right onto the shaft of the hook here, right in the bottom of the shaft. And what that allows me to do is let that worm, I can twitch it if I want to stay it on top, but if I want to let it settle down around some cover or something, I can let that bait settle down. And then with just a very little bit of a rod tip twitch, this worm will actually pulsate through the water. Very effective on a pre-spawn, spawn and a post-spawn type bite. Shallow water application from no water, maybe down to 3 or 4 foot of water. There's one. There we go. La-la. Wacky one. Very effective. Excuse me, little guy. I'm going to let you go. Color worm, I don't really think it makes that much difference. Use whatever your preference is. I'm using this particular chartreuse looking worm here today just because I can see it real good. A lot of the bites you can see them taking. We just caught a nice little about 2 pounder here just a minute ago on it, so maybe we'll give us a note here real quick.
Thank you, Wes, and our thanks to Sam Newby for stopping by and showing off his new trophy.
A popular feature at every FLW event is the Family Fun Zone. Kids of all ages play games, meet anglers, and take home all kinds of free goodies.
But watch out when you walk past the Alpo booth, because you might go home with much more than a can of dog food. Quick, what's the friendliest place in the FLW Family Fun Zone? Has to be the Alpo Great Dog Connection, where nobody's a stranger. Alpo's goal is to connect great dogs with loving homes. So at every fun zone, there's an open invitation for potential pet owners to get eye-to-eye with man's best friend. A local humane society provides the dogs, and Alpo provides a 3-month supply of dog food when one of the canines is adopted. The 5 Alpo pros get personally involved too. Along with fishing FLW events and the distinctive Alpo Ranger boats, you'll find them helping out in the fun zone. And you'll find them on their own Alpo trading cards, posing with their dogs. If there's a place in your heart for a great dog, the Alpo team wants to see you in the next fun zone. Who knows? You might meet your next fishing partner there. The next Family Fun Zone is at the Tour Championship in Shreveport on September 13th and 14th.
Now, among the pros who've qualified for the championship is Arkansas's Larry Nixon. Let's tap into Larry's vast fishing knowledge with this edition of Ask a Pro. This question is from Hank Jones of Batesville, Mississippi. I fish Oxbow Lakes off the Mississippi River. What lure colors and type of blades do you recommend using in muddy conditions? Are bright colors or dark colors more effective? Do you recommend using single or tandem blades in this situation? Well, Hank, here's Larry Nixon with your answer.
Well, Hank, that's a good question, because anytime you're fishing dirty water like the Mississippi River, the Arkansas River, normally bulky type baits like a jig or a craw, black in color with a chartreuse tail or red metal flake is usually the best baits to pitch and flip with. And then if you're going to throw spinner baits, you want to throw one that usually has a round Colorado-style blade, because that'll put out more vibration. And not only that, use a bright colored skirt like chartreuse and white or white, which will give it lots of visibility. Believe it or not, dark colors show up just as well as light colors in dirty water. So shad colors on spinner baits, dark colors on your jig.
And so many anglers stress the importance of being able to fish many kinds of conditions. Even if you're a clear water specialist, you'll be ahead of the game if you can also catch fish when the water is dirty.
Here's an update on the RCL walleye circuit. Lots of fish and some rough waters greeted the anglers at the 4th and final RCL regular season event, which is wrapping up today on the Saginaw Bay in Michigan. Headlining the list of anglers who made the cut include second-day leader Todd Riley of Amory, Wisconsin, and Ron Gazvoda, Mark Martin, Scott Aller, and Tim Minima. A $90,000 prize awaits the winner. The next event is the RCL Championship in Red Wing, Minnesota in October. Coming up on FLW Outdoors, Yamaha Pro Jay Yellis, our Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year, tells the story of his wild ride to the title. Welcome back to Walmart FLW Outdoors. I'm Carlton Wing with Taylor Carr.
Well, you saw the way the Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year race came down to the wire at the season's final regular event at Lake Champlain. What a clutch performance by Jay Yellis.
And it was a great race from the start. Here's the official order of finish. Yellis, then Kevin Van Dam, Dean Rojas, Clark Wendlandt, and Sam Newby.
Mike Warren was 6th, then David Dudley, Bernie Schultz, Andre Moore, and Greg Hackney.
Our Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year began with a 3rd-place finish on the abundant waters of Lake Okeechobee. He clinched the title in record-breaking fashion at Lake Champlain, passing one of the world's best anglers with dramatic style. This is one of the great stories of the 2002 season. Jay Yellis is our 2002 Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year. It's probably just now setting in and very meaningful for you as well.
No, it's huge. It's one of probably the highlight of my fishing career to this point, you know, and to think that I could win it after being so far behind Kevin going into the last tournament is just unbelievable to me. Kevin had a 28-point lead on me going into this tournament, and he is undisputably the top angler in the country. And chasing him is like chasing Tiger Woods. Fishing is a series of peaks and valleys. It's really, you got these real high highs and real low lows. And I'm just, one of the keys for me over the years has been able to just try to maintain the same level of emotion and not get caught up in the emotional roller coaster. And even though I was down after Old Hickory, I came into this tournament very relaxed because I didn't feel any pressure at all since Kevin had a big lead. I just came in here, tried to do my best that I could, try to win the tournament, and I figured it was in his hands, in Kevin's hands, that is, the Angler of the Year title. It was his title to win or lose, but he had to do poorly for me to have a chance to win, and it just worked out that he had his worst finish of the year, and it opened the door.
Opportunity came up. Adversity makes victory all the sweeter. You had to overcome some adversity.
Yeah.
This is going to be a great story that you'll be able to tell not only your own children, but many other people who will listen to what Jay Yellis has to say about overcoming adversity.
You're right. That's the real story here, because that tournament at Old Hickory was probably the most frustrating tournament of my whole career. And I've been doing this for 13 years, a long time. It's one of those days that makes you think about going home and putting everything on eBay and just calling it quits. It was just a terrible day. And my amateur that day, to put everything in perspective, he caught 8.5 pounds more than the second best amateur stringer that day. That's just unheard of. I mean, he just had this guy. I was happy for him because they were all fished and I wasn't going to catch. I'd already fished through the area and they didn't bite my hook. I'm glad he caught him. Nothing against him. He's a good friend of mine, the guy that caught my amateur that day. But it was so frustrating for me. But you can never give up, no matter what you're chasing in life. If you just stick to your goal, and this Angler of the Year title really proves that if you just keep your nose to the grindstone, that don't give up, and just keep working hard, things can work out in your favor in the end. One thing to remember is that adverse things happen to everybody. That happens to the guy that wins Angler of the Year, and it happens to the guy that finishes at the end of the pack. Everybody deals with adversity. It's how well do you deal with your adversity that makes a difference between winners and losers. Your face will be greeting millions of Americans at their breakfast tables when you appear on the Kellogg's box as part of your victory. That's a scary thought. I don't know if I'd want to look at my face first thing in the morning. I usually can't stand to look in the mirror myself early in the morning, but anyway, it's a real honor and a privilege. And I'm very humbled by the opportunity to get on a cereal box. That's been that's a dream come true, man. I mean, how many people get a chance to do that? Hardly any. And I'm just really tickled that all my nieces and nephews around the country, they'll be able to go into a Walmart or a Sam's and pick up a cereal box with their Uncle Jay on the cover. I think that's cool. Lots of Jay Ellis fans will be picking up their cereal and waking up to you. Congratulations once again. Jay Ellis, your 2002 Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year.
Yeah, congrats to Jay Yellis. And our thanks to Kevin Van Dam. He was disappointed with his showing, but he answered all questions from the media and from us and never made excuses.
That's the way these anglers are. Fishing's a very humbling sport, and they know there's often a fine line between first and second place. Plus, these guys need to stay optimistic because there's always the next event.
And for the FLW, the next event is the big one, the Tour Championship.
And one of the best parts of our job is getting to know the anglers of the FLW Tour and finding out that there's much more to them than fishing.
Let's call this next feature The Story Behind the Story. See if you learn something new about these anglers.
Spend some time getting to know the interesting and diverse anglers of the FLW Tour, and you'll be amazed at what you find out.
For example, did you know that Okeechobee champion J.T. Kenny was a nationally ranked ATV rider?
Or that Land O'Lakes pro Jerry Williams was once on the Hollywood Squares. In fact, that 1968 episode was the last shown in primetime.
That Shirley Crane is a pilot and raises Arabian horses.
That Chevy pro Larry Nixon isn't the only performer in his family. Larry has 2 sons who play in a rock band and a daughter who's a big-time competitive barrel racer.
That co-angler Hoot Gibson had a career in law enforcement, including stints as chief of police and motorcycle cop.
That Land O'Lakes pro Karen Savick owns a restaurant called the Original Pancake House.
That Craig Powers was in the pizza business before he became a star angler. He owned a Domino's franchise.
That Gary Yamamoto's latest business venture is raising rare Wagyu cattle, which produces some of the most sought-after beef in the world.
That M1 winners, David Dudley and Darrell Robertson, both donated part of their prize money to help build churches.
That co-angler Doug Caldwell is the mayor of Kane, Pennsylvania.
And that the ever-smiling Dean Rojas got his start as a ballpark peanut vendor. This year's FLW Tour Championship is a truly unique event in professional fishing. Head-to-head matchups. We'll preview some of the best ones next. Now, this year, the FLW Tour Championship has a whole new look that could make each round a real nail-biter.
The format is bracket style with a twist or two that we think you like.
You'll get to see your favorite pros fishing head-to-head, aiming at a big, big payday.
Fishing fans can play along with the pros in a brand new format which features head-to-head competition for the FLW Tour Championship. The top 48 pros from the 6 regular season events have qualified for a slot in the championship bracket. The anglers will be seated according to their finish and matched together. Number 1 will meet 48 and so on throughout the bracket. The first round comprises the total weight of fish caught for the first 2 days. The 24 winners then advance to the second round. Here's how the bracket looks for September. Our top seed is Jay Yellis. He'll face 48 seed Harmon Davis. Should Yellis win, he'll face the winner of the John Sappington-David Fritz matchup in the semifinals. After the first round, we go from 48 to 24 anglers. In the semifinal round, we cut from 24 to 12. For Saturday's final, we will take the remaining 12 and seed them according to their total weight for the tournament, thus rewarding the anglers who have won their head-to-head matchups and continued to catch fish. The top 2 total weights will go head-to-head for the $260,000 first-place prize. The next 2 will fish head-to-head for third place, the next 2 for fifth, and so on down the list. The exciting part of this new format is the matchups. Here are some fun ones to look forward to. The team battles. Yamaha's Dean Rojas and Takahiro Amori are meeting in the first round, along with Kellogg's pros Clark Lindland and Alvin Shaw, and Fuji pros Joel Richardson and Wes Thomas. Longtime legends of the sport are also going head-to-head. Rick Plunge plays Paul Elias. Tom Mann Jr. meets Larry Nixon, and Guido Hibden takes on Chuck Economou. The FLW Championship will be fun to follow for the fans and fun to fish for the anglers with $800,000 on the line.
One other matchup that promises excitement is the one featuring famous sons. Jerry Williams' son Keith will meet Dion Hibden's son of Guido Hibden, the Hall of Famer.
Each family owns many victories, and you can bet that both will be paying close attention to the first round of the FLW Tour Championship, looking for one more.
You still have one more opportunity to be the big winner in the Conseco Fishing Challenge for the FLW Championship. Log on to FLWOutdoors.com and pick your top 6 anglers, and you could possibly win $1 million.
And nobody's won $1 million yet, but for last week's tournament at Lake Champlain, DJ Hensley of Poston, Arizona had the best team with 4 finals. DJ won a fishing trip with a Conseco Pro, 2 sets of gear, and hats and T-shirts. Even if there's not $1 million winner, there are 25 consolation prizes awarded, including a NASCAR simulator party and die-cast Ranger boats.
If you want to play in the next Conseco Fishing Challenge, log on to FLWOutdoors.com. Pick your 6th of the Tour Championship in September.
The exciting highlights of the 2002 season are coming up next on FLW Outdoors.
As we look ahead, next on the schedule, the Tour Championship in September. We'll be there with that exciting new format as our top pros go head-to-head.
And that's not all. This October, we'll bring you the RCL Walleye Championship from Red Wing, Minnesota. And in November, it's the Everstar Championship from Lake Martin in Alabama.
The 2002 season certainly provided great drama and thrills along with its share of champions. We thank you for being part of a very exciting year for the FLW Outdoors family.
We thank Sam Newby for joining us today. And thank you for watching. As we close, here's our gift to you. An exciting look back at the 2002 season told in true FLW Outdoor style.
FLW Outdoors and fishing like you've never seen it before. Did you get all of that?
I got it.
Woo! Hallelujah.
Oh, man. Come here, baby. Please, come here. Golly, Mom. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna knock that bridge down the way I'm casting. There we go. We might be in Arkansas.
Well, I'm gonna get it.
Here's a great part of the job, Dave. You do an interview with a guy, loses his glove in the lake, and you got to catch it for him.
Hey, did you get that on film? All right.
That's big time
It's a
right
keeper.
there.
Weighs about a 7-pounder laying right there. There she is. Oh, good, what a fish. Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh, what a fish. Oh, woo! Son of a gun, you see the size of this fish. My gosh, Lord, that's a godsend. Thank you. So, look at this fish. Woo! 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 Woo!
Oh my gosh, look at this fish.
Yeah! 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 Look at that stuff. Yeah! Yeah! Woo-hoo!
Oh yeah, they like it. Oh, that's a big fish on the homemade lure. Kenny's gonna be proud. Kenny will be proud. This one's for you, Kenny. Oh, she's taking me deep. Oh my God, it's another monster. It's another monster. She's going wherever she wants. Oh man, come here, baby. Please, come here. Oh, come in the net, in the net. Oh, I got a 6-pounder. I just got a 6-pounder on the homemade bait. I love this.
We got a good one. I can measure them all at the same time, can't I? What a deal.
There you go.
We have a JT Kenny, your champion.
He could have one more, and he does.
Champion Larry Nixon, your second FLW championship. Ladies and gentlemen, your world record holder, a $700,000 payday, the largest ever in the history of bass fishing. David Dudley, how does that feel?
Very good. Look at the head on that thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is your champion on Lake Washita in the first ever visit from the FLW Tour, Mr. Wesley Schrader.
We have a champion, Andre Moore.
Mr. Basil Bacon is your champion here on Old Hickory.
We have a champion, Sam Newby.
Sam Newby, your 2002 Forest Wood Open champion. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, your 2002 Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year, Jay Yellow.